The pick is in.
The Green Bay Packers have made selections in the 2024 NFL Draft tonight alongside Locked On College Football host Spencer McLaughlin. I am Tanisha Batiste, and we are joined by Peter Bukowski of Locked On Packers to break down the Packers selecting Edgerrin Cooper with the number 45 pick and Javon Bullard with the number 58 pick. So, Peter, I ask you, is it the linebacker out of Texas A&M, or is it the guy coming out of Georgia, the safety? Which one's the better pick in your opinion?
Can I just say yes? Because
Yes,
I feel like the reason I say that is because they work in tandem. This was one of the worst middle of the field defenses in the league last year under old defensive coordinator Joe Barry. And there's a reason. There's a new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, who was the coach at Boston College over the last few seasons. They need to remake the spine of this defense. It started in free agency with Xavier McKinney, who they paid top of market money to bring in. And when Brian Gutekunst was asked, this is really interesting to me, guys. On Monday, Brian Gutekunst was asked, what are you looking for in a safety? Who is a complementary safety for someone like Xavier McKinney, who can play deep half, he can play deep middle, he can play in the slot, play anywhere you want him. And Brian Gutekunst goes, we want these guys to all be interchangeable. We want them to be able to play, and in particular in the slot. And we just heard from a member of the Packers front office on the conference call that one of the reasons why Javon Bullard stood out to them was his ability to play the nickel. Remember, in 2022, he was the Bulldogs' full-time nickel when he played on the best defense in college football, one of the best defenses we've ever seen. Last year, they say, hey, Javon, we need you to play a little bit more deep. We need you to play some true safety. He still lined up in the slot a decent amount, and he did that with aplomb. And so I think that interchangeability, and then you add in someone like Edgerrin Cooper, who can be in that middle of the field, play with Quay Walker, another Bulldog, by the way. And you're adding two incredibly rangy, incredibly physical football players to this middle of the field defense, which needed so much help.
Indeed. And so when you look at those guys, which one of them do you feel has kind of the biggest upside?
So it's funny because I like the Bullard pick more. I think Cooper has more upside. And that's just based strictly on the physical tools that we've seen at this point. 6'3", 230 pounds, can run like the wind and arrives like he's got thunder in his shoulder pads. When you watch that Alabama game, chasing down the athletes that Alabama has, I mean, one of the most mobile quarterbacks in college football, and just made them look slow, frankly. Like that is not an easy task for anyone. When he comes downhill, when he fires his guns coming downhill, he is a joy to watch play. Now, can he play moving back? I don't know. Do you guys know? No one knows, because they didn't really ask him to do that at Texas A&M. If he can, though, like if that's a part of his game that he can unlock, new linebackers coach Anthony Campanile coming over from Miami, if he can unlock that part of Edgerrin Cooper's game, we could be talking about one of the best linebackers in the league, because the tools, the length, the playmaking instincts, and already the elite ability to come downhill as a blitzer, as a run defender, it's already there as a run and chase linebacker. If he can be a Mike too, there was a scout that told Go Long that they thought he was a top 15 player in this class based just purely on talent. But he plays linebacker, so he's going to fall a little bit, kind of like a running back might. So that, to me, that's the guy. Like, I think Edgerrin Cooper can be one of the – there aren't many linebackers that matter in the league. He can be one of them if he reaches his 99th percentile outcome.
For more on the Packers, subscribe to Locked On Packers on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Spencer, which was the better gift for the Packers in the second round?
I'm on Edgerrin Cooper here. Not that I am down on a safety from Georgia, because, well, anybody from Georgia tends to go really well. It's just because I'm that high on Edgerrin Cooper. I mean, he brings the total package to the table. Just elite physical traits, just great metrics everywhere that you would look, and he just pops on film. When you watch his explosive plays, they look like explosive plays plus, because he just has that extra level of strength, tenacity, ferociousness, and sideline to sideline speed. Reminds me a lot of Patrick Queen out of LSU once upon a time, who's had a great NFL career to this point. I think that's the sort of player the Packers are getting here. You want to retool the middle of your field, Edgerrin Cooper's a guy to do it with.
For continuing coverage of the 2024 NFL Draft, subscribe to Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.